Good to go. Yesterday was a tough day because a good friend of mine and a colleague passed. This guy was the ultimate kind of like warrior, you know. His name was Andrew McCaffrey, and his claim to fame was he lost a hand uh, in service to the nation. They thought he was going to have to be medically retired. He requalified. He lost his right hand, so then he requalified using his left hand, and he ended up going back into, I think, 3 deployments. He's just the man. He was the man. And I think I have the coin. I'll grab it. So he and I did a lot of work at Arlington Cemetery. And he had a dear friend who died. I think it was in Iraq. But anyway, he's buried in, his name was Rafferty. He's buried in Section 60. And so Andy would go, when Andy and I first started working together in 2017, Andy went to go see Rafferty, I think, for the first time in a long time. And I think he drank a whole bottle of Jameson before he went. And so that was the first year. And then the second year, he allowed my mom to come with him to Section 60 because, we do Mindful Memorial Day every year at Arlington, and he invited my mom for whatever reason to go with him to the gravesite. And this time he didn't get 3 sheets to the wind before he went. So we went. And my mom at the time was in a wheelchair, motorized wheelchair, and they just went to Rafferty's gravesite together, and he and my mom just hit it off. And the thing about Andy was everything about him was kind of aggressive, in your face. He was always dipping. He was always kind of had a smell about him. He was always kind of on edge. He was always ready for threat, always. And with my mom, he was just really chill. So anyway, he got up after they came back from Section 60, he got up on a table around a bunch of volunteers, and he's like, I don't usually like to point anybody out, which is bullshit. He always points people out. But I just want to acknowledge Ann King. And so he goes on to give this speech, and he says, I want to give Ann one of my coins. And he's like, I was a sapper for Charlie Rock. And he holds up this really nice coin. And my mom's this nice little lady, right? She's just another mom, right? So Andy, he's like, yeah. So I want to give Miss King this coin and Charlie Rock sappers. And he goes on to tell a story about sappers. And he's like, and on the back it says, bad motherfuckers. And I just want to say that Ann King is a bad motherfucker. He hands my mom the coin and gets off the table. And it was just one of those things where everyone just got it, right? I mean, this guy is literally existing in a state of ever readiness, and he's never come down from that. He never really came back from war. But inside of him, and what he took to war, and what he always had, was just this incredible spirit. I mean, the incredible heart of an American warrior. I mean, he was just totally dedicated to any cause he got involved with, honoring fallen warriors. He's a good dude. And I'm really sad that he's not here. He seemed invincible to me. It's very sad. This is the coin. See, big bad motherfuckers. Andy McCaffrey. Today is the 29th stanza. We'll go through the training and read it at the end. But after reading the stanza, it really just reflects for me what the art of peace often has done over the years that I've been practicing with it, which is, without planning, coincide with life events. And I mean, arguably, this could just be my, imagination, just made up thinking, But every single time I've done the practice, there have been unique kind of elements of life that have shown up in conjunction with the stanza. So the stanza and life just seems to have a kind of connection. So anyway, I'll read it and you'll see for yourself. All right, first bell. Going eyes closed right away. Same sound, 2 o'clock. Outside of my kind of sound awareness, way, way outside. And it kind of like more my sound perimeter. So when I make a perimeter of sound, I mostly just try to assess where all the sounds are and where I could potentially expect sound to be. And I don't expect any sound inside my kind of 360 degrees. Sound that shows up outside of that, it's totally innocuous. Won't cause me any disruption at all. So I know that's squared away. Next, sense of touch. So sense of touch will enable me to perceive breeze, any kind of like movement in the air. I can perceive that through my skin and my sense of touch. And then I can also perceive just temperature in general. And that's all pretty predictable. I don't have to exert any energy around the maintenance or the worry or the fear of what could potentially touch me. So I can kind of check that off. Good to go. I closed my eyes right away. I would just address eyes one more time, or just real quick. Just light and shadow behind the eyes. There's no reason to suggest that the kind of current light in the room will do any dramatic changing. So I can leave that alone. I don't have to worry about that. Then taste in the mouth and smell. Hardly any smell. Taste in the mouth is just kind of, just empty. There's nothing there. And so I've gone through all of my systems in a very strategic way, in a very methodical way, and I'm just putting my attention on the present moment to complement what my nervous system is doing all the time anyway. So it's just a reinforcement. I'm just riding my systems, acknowledging their effectiveness, acknowledging that they all work, and then I'm going, all right, cool, safe. Now I'm going to go to second bell. So at second bell, I go into my body. So if we go back to the clock analogy, I'm now at the center of the clock, and I'm assessing what's right beneath me. And I can go all the way down into the core of the earth if I want to, but mostly I'm just checking right beneath me. Yep, solid. Beneath that, solid. Beneath that, solid. Beneath that, solid. All the way down to the earth. Solid, solid, solid. So clearly, I can rely on this. From there, I build my spine from this stable point. So the stable point having been established, I now move into the pelvis. Now I'm exploring the pelvis now from the bottom of the pelvis, and there are these things called sit bones, which are kind of pointy kind of bones that your hips kind of culminate in beneath you. And what I'm practicing doing is acknowledging those sit bones, feeling them, and then imagining them separating out. Once I've established that, I move up into the core. Get the core unused. That's what I want. I mean, I want the core to just be without any work through it. And so for me, that's kind of a letting it out. And then from there, I move up to the chest space. Now, chest space is all about heart, lungs, ribs, collarbones, shoulder blades. So I want you to think about doing is moving really, really tiny amounts with your shoulder blades, and just feel how the tiniest bit of movement, say pulling your shoulder blades together by 1 millimeter, will cause other parts of the heart space to move. So you just notice that. So just like if you take 1% effort and pull your shoulder blades kind of together and feel how much movement there is. It's really remarkable how much your body can provide feedback for any type of movement. And mostly we just don't feel it through the noise. Then throat space. Adding awareness of the jaw here. And if you can hold all these patterns of kind of allowing together, so the allowing of the spreading at the base, the relaxation at the core, the slight movement at the heart space, the openness at the throat, you're holding all those together in your awareness as a way to just stay connected all along the spine. The benefits of this are that you're in the present moment. You're in what's called parasympathetic dominance. You're in the part of the vagus nerve that stimulates the relaxation in the body, the softening in the body, and the heart opening of the body. The spirit of the body is allowed to kind of move and just be open, right? So there's no closed offness, or there's less closed offness, which just allows for things to make connections. And that's what love does, right? That's what the human spirit does, is it makes connections. It's what it's always done. It's what it's always going to do. It's arguably what we're made of. It's arguably what the universe is made of. And so the armor is all this stuff, all the noise that we kind of tack on around it and then imagine and then have trauma. So it's not so much imagination as it is lived experience. And then we forget how to open back up again. We forget how to armor down. So then we go to the face. Now your face is part of the vagus nerve in the context of, I think it's I don't remember the parts of the vagus nerve. I just remember that there's part of your nerves go into your face, and your face connect to your organs. And so the stuff going on in your face is having an impact on the processing and the kind of the work of your organs. It's really, really sophisticated. So when you go into your face and you start softening at the chin, softening around the lips, softening around the nose, the eyes, top of the head, the occipital in the back, you're telling all your organs, all good. Everything is good, 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 across the board at multiple levels. And again, this offers the opportunity for everything to kind of open up, reach out, get connected, soften, release. All these things are taking place because each level has responded with green. It's all good, all good, all good, long as it's all good, the next level could be like, okay, are we all good? Yep, all good. Next level. You good? Good. Green across the board. So green across the board, just the spirit is just like, what can we get involved with today? So we go to third bell. Third bell takes us into breathing. And so now there's this participation not only with this open world inside of you, but now you're participating with it. You're interacting with it and the external world through your breath. So your breath and the world around you become intertwined through the focus of the moment. So for the next 3 minutes, just be inside your body and be with your breath. So the cumulative effect of the four bells is to get you to a place of not intellectual safety, but nervous system safety. So your nervous system is doing its own thing, but it's also paying attention to all your systems. It's paying attention to how you breathe, it's paying attention to how you think, and it's responding accordingly. So what we've just done over the past 15 minutes is convince your system that everything is perfectly fine right now. And once you can get to a place where everything's perfectly fine and your heart is open, there's opportunity for growth, new ideas, shifts, changes, a new awareness of nuance. I mean, there's all this stuff that shows up when you can put your system in green. And so then we add these ideas, right? These ideas, the ideas of the art of peace now and whatever we decide to study next. But as I mentioned before, this notion of what we have inside of us connecting to what's outside of us, and what we're essentially built upon, the seed that we're built from is the seed of love. And what connects everything is love. And so what separates what we are inside, which is love, from the world, which is also love, is the armor that we put up around ourselves. And that armor, when it's brought down, simply just puts us back in our more natural state, which is in love. And so when that happens, growth happens, change happens, evolution happens. We become a kind of a more evolved version of ourselves. And that's the purpose of the art of peace practice. By the time you get through it, you're just a little bit more evolved. So the 29th stanza is as follows. All life is a manifestation of the spirit, the manifestation of love. And the art of peace is the purest form of that principle. A warrior is charged with bringing a halt to all contention and strife. Universal love functions in many forms. Each manifestation should be allowed free expression. The art of peace is true democracy. A warrior is charged with bringing a halt to all contention and strife. So I watched the Democratic National Convention last night and also got involved in my Military Order of the Purple Heart Virginia Department conversation. And the basic point of both conversations was it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter what you look like, who you love, where you're from, how much money you have, none of that shit matters. In America, we create as much opportunity for as many people as we possibly can. That's just what we do. And that's what we're always going to do. We are an aspirational nation. Now, we don't always do it right or well, but that's what we're leaning towards. And that's what our great leaders lean us towards. That's what, our champions lead us towards. And our job as warriors is to make sure there's the least amount of contention and strife. And, that's just what the Democratic Party's platform is based off of. It's just what the platform is. And I would argue it's what the United States is based off of. And so I think it's appropriate that this stanza would be showing up at the kind of the climax of the Democratic National Convention. It just seems connected to me. So I'll read that one more time. It's worth mentioning, and then I'll read my interpretation, my little breakdown, and then we'll finish up. All life is a manifestation of the spirit, the manifestation of love. And the art of peace is the purest form of that principle. A warrior is charged with bringing a halt to all contention and strife. Universal love functions in many forms. Each manifestation should be allowed free expression. The art of peace is true democracy. And then from your internal world to see your own self, you are awareness that has a body and mind. What you are other than that is left to you and the language you use to describe it. So I guess that's it. Finish up for today. It was always great training with you. And we'll see you tomorrow.